is Kawhi Leonard better than LeBron? And I think that 2 or 3 years ago, you asked this question. I think the answer would be super quick. To now, I think it might be a little slower. So I want to know what you think about that. Just really simple question.
Yeah. No. Next topic. No. So no. The thing that complicates this question a little bit
Mhm,
is LeBron missed the playoffs for the first time after being in the finals every year since 1977.
mhm.
So so we don't get to see LeBron in the playoffs. And for the past few years, LeBron has just kind of coasted in the regular season and turned it on in the playoffs. In any year since the Cavs won the championship, you could say that in the regular season, LeBron James was not the best player.
Mhm,
Easily, right?
mhm.
He hasn't won the MVP since then, right?
Right.
So so that's the thing. And so that's what we're comparing it to. And we're also saying LeBron is not just 34, but he's played 100 million games. So, being in the finals all the time also takes its toll. Now, he is the most gifted athlete I've personally ever seen play a sport.
Mhm.
So, he might have a longer shelf life, and he's doing what he needs to do to play deep into the season. It's not just straight out decline, because his run through the Eastern Conference last year was bananas offensively.
Mhm.
I mean, crazy, right? Like, so the stuff that you see him doing. Like, if the offensive LeBron James could somehow drag up the Miami Heat defense, LeBron James, he's the best player of all time to me.
Man, the Miami Heat LeBron James is arguably as good as any basketball player has ever been.
I mean, I definitely easily take Jordan over him,
I mean,
but
it's in this that pocket. I
at
think
least I can entertain the discussion.
yeah,
I do.
Mike had a longer time period of being that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like Mike, you can
But
look at
here's the thing.
7 years in a row and say that about Mike.
I
Literally.
don't think Mike would have taken the L's that LeBron took while he was with the Miami Heat, and I include in those L's having to have Ray Allen hit like a super duper clutch
Who?
shot.
Who?
Ray
Who?
Allen, Ray
Who?
Allen, the role player Ray Allen. Right,
Oh, oh, oh.
that's right. In the playoffs, he's a role player. So role player Ray,
Oh,
came
now
in,
you giving him another name?
hit a great shot. I'm talking about a different guy. You talking about regular Ray, which you know, role player Ray don't. We would never compare him to Kobe Bryant. Our show has too much integrity for that. Long story short, though, to get to the point at hand, uh, Kawhi Leonard has not yet put together an entire playoff run equal to LeBron's last playoff run, in my opinion. I think Kawhi's been great. But the other thing about Kawhi is that he has not yet fully recovered from his leg injury. Tendonitis has flared up for him in his knee and quad area, and has clearly limited him, especially defensively. Defensively, he looks like a different person. He's still an above average defender, but he was one of the best defenders I've ever seen in my life
Yeah.
when he's healthy.
Mhm,
Now he's a good defender. Now he's like Pascal Siakam, right?
mhm.
Who's a good defender, but it is what it is. Um, so I mean, LeBron, a part of what has made him amazing is that he goes through the entire playoffs just like a machine, doing everything. So, and based off that, I would say not based off what we've seen. Now, if LeBron comes back in a version of himself that's lesser than what he's ever been, then on that date at 35 years old versus Kawhi's, I guess he'll be like 28 or something like that, then Kawhi Leonard will be better on that date. But comparing Kawhi's current playoff performance to LeBron James' last playoff performance, no. If LeBron James was on if LeBron James of last year was on this Toronto Raptors team, I think the Golden State Warriors are in just a little bit more trouble than they are now.
Yeah, it's 3-0.
Yeah,
It's 3-0.
even though, no, I will leave it there. I will leave it there because Toronto has enough shooters and they don't really have a whole lot of playmakers. So Toronto's actually, ironically, the ideal team for that. for
They're
LeBron.
great for. Oh my God, they would be
put,
fantastic for
and, you know,
LeBron right now.
and he could ball hog a ball. What?
Yeah, they would be fantastic for LeBron right
Yeah.
now. Okay, my answer to this is absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. He's not better. And one of the reasons that, in my opinion, Kawhi Leonard does one thing better than LeBron. He's a better defender.
I disagree with that, but continue.
Yeah, I think he's a better defender. I think that's the only at this stage in their careers.
Okay,
It's
so
not,
here's two things I would say Kawhi does better than LeBron. Well, three actually. He's a much better free throw shooter. That's huge.
Okay, absolutely.
That's
100,
huge.
100%, 100%,
Because
100%.
literally, LeBron might have 2 more championships if he was the free throw shooter Kawhi Leonard is, right?
I don't know. I don't know if I
to
say
everything else.
that. I don't know that he's cost the team a championship with his free throw shooting.
Well, he cost the team the championship by not being aggressive in the fourth quarter against Dallas for an entire series, and he wasn't aggressive because he didn't want to shoot free throws partially.
I don't know. I don't know if I can go with that. That's why I definitely, that first series against Dallas, them not winning, I think is on him. I do think that's on him.
Okay, not to get too into the weeds of that, but to the other things that Kawhi does better, I think Kawhi is a better 3-point shooter than LeBron James. I think Kawhi is better as a catch and shoot 3-point shooter than LeBron, and particularly, and it's funny that you should say this now. Coach Nick from B-Ball Breakdown just put out a video where he said almost word for word. I tweeted this out earlier. What I've been saying on the show is that Kawhi Leonard possesses the extremely unique, and when I say unique, I don't know if anybody else could do this as a perimeter player.
Nobody.
To go from elite role player,
nobody.
a guy who's just going to defend, come off screens, catch and shoot, to an elite Kobe, LeBron, Jordan level go-to guy. I've never seen that in my entire life.
Maybe Ray Allen.
Which Ray? regular Ray did have that, but in the playoffs, Kawhi is the only guy I've seen who's been able to do that consistently, and that is an incredible skill. It's such an incredible skill that I think we don't even count it as a skill because no one's played like that before. Mm-hmm. No one's, and that's crazy to allow guys like Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet to legitimately cook while you're on the floor and contributing. And then when those guys sit down and, Powell and Danny Green is back in, you just take over the offense. Or when the game is tight, you just take over the offense and get free throws and get a bucket. I've never seen that before. And LeBron James definitely does not have that off the ball skill set that Kawhi has.
Now, I hear what you're saying from a pure shooting percentage standpoint, that he's a better 3-point shooter than LeBron. They're very different players, of course, but LeBron does so many things with the ball that there's a huge gap in passing. Kawhi, ginormous gap in passing. Like Kawhi is borderline a bad passer. Borderline. At best, he's an average passer.
I will go with the average passer.
Yeah, at best, he holds
Kawhi
the ball
has been
too freaking long, especially when he's being trapped.
He's been a bad passer, and he does sometimes miss stuff, but I think he has improved in that category and has shown the ability to improve in that category. And if we're judging him right now on this run, he's not a bad passer.
I've seen
LeBron, but LeBron is possibly,
the greatest passing forward to ever live.
Exactly, which is not even close. Like Kawhi is not even Grant Hill.
See, I don't think that there is a gap between the two, besides maybe free throw shooting, that is as significant as the gap between them two in passing.
Oh, I would disagree with that, with the off ball thing. And it's not just off ball. It's his ability to be a role player. Because what this allows is
I don't know.
Let me just finish the point. Mm-hmm. Nick Nurse is a first-year head coach. And Kawhi Leonard is coming from an entirely different system in San Antonio to this system in Toronto, along with Danny Green. Mm-hmm. And missing 22 games. Mm-hmm. This offense looks like it's been in place for 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I think Kawhi's malleability is greatly to do with that. And if you look across the pond at Kyrie Irving, that's the skill that he does not possess that causes a clash with him and Brad Stevens. And I think LeBron James has that same situation, which is why even temporarily it doesn't work with Luke Walton, because they need two different teams. They need a LeBron coach and they need a coach for everybody else. And so when LeBron is playing, it's LeBron ball. And then when the other Lakers come in, it's this other team that'll win you 35 games with them playing Walton ball. And with Kawhi, he changes shape like a puzzle piece to any system that he's placed in, because of specifically the ability to do all of those other things. And it's not just cutting, it's all of the skills involved, the catching and shooting, the patience in his finishing. LeBron is a bulldozer finisher. Kawhi dribble in the lane like a 2K league player.
And
fake
come
passing,
very
fake
close,
shooting.
and come very close to 3-second calls a lot.
Maybe a little past the border, but
a little bit past.
We ain't worried about that right now.
He had to play in game 3. I'd say, whoa, that's about 5 seconds right there.
Hey, look,
he been there for
before we get to Kawhi's 3 seconds, we gotta address Steph Curry and carrying the ball above his,
he led the league in
flying a kite.
He led the league in rushing on that play. But I think to judge LeBron because of the impact player that he is, to judge him like almost like skill for skill is minimizing his overall impact. I think it kind of oversimplifies his overall impact. I think the way that Kawhi plays is great, but I also think that it's a double-edged sword, right? Because the fact that he will step back and let Kyle Lowry do his thing, step back and let this person do his thing. I know Kawhi definitely has a takeover gene. He will do it. So he's not going to sit there and watch somebody else sink the ship. If he needs to ball dominate, he will do it. We've seen him do it in this postseason. We've seen him do it. But there is also something to be said for a guy who literally takes it all. And it's not that LeBron won't let anybody cook. The thing about LeBron, and some people may call it a problem, LeBron has to respect you. And he has to have you in high regard in terms of allowing you to do your thing off the dribble. And to be totally honest, I can only think of 2 teammates that he's ever had that he respected on that level, that he would allow them to do their thing. And that's Dwayne Wade and Kyrie Irving. Everybody else, you got to get it from me.
But see, and that's the thing, though, because Kawhi Leonard lets anybody be hot, because he's not just doing, okay, your turn, you do your thing. He is committing to the system and has the skills to do so. He was taught. I mean, I think it does make a big difference that he was taught by Greg Popovich how to do this. He was taught as a system player his first few years in the league, and I don't think LeBron has that particular skill set, and he's never shown it. So I don't think it's really arguable that he can be an excellent system role player. I think that would be something that he would have to learn. And to date, that's something I greatly put in Kawhi's favor. And I think that's a reason, one of the main reasons the Raptors are in the finals. Because as great as Kawhi is at taking over, he doesn't have to take over when the system's working. He only has to take over when the system's not working. And that's superstar paradise. LeBron James is the system, right? Yeah. Kobe, that's something that Kobe got better at as time went on, to be a triangle offense guy in the first half and then be Kobe in the second half. And he talks at length about that. I don't think LeBron has had to do that because of how much success he's had in the Eastern Conference. And because of that success, he has not, up to this point, and we'll see what happens with Frank Vogel, had a coach that has drawn a line in the sand and said, I will get fired if you don't run my offense.
Yeah. But so I've been saying that all year to you. I have been saying that all year, that is what LeBron needs. But it's so funny. Like, I had a conversation with somebody today at the gym who happens to be a 10, 11-year NBA vet, played with LeBron, spent years with him, right? And we talked literally for about an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, nothing but basketball. Him talking about LeBron, him talking about all these different players. And the LeBron, and this is the reason partially why I felt this way anyway, but this is the reason partially why I say we can look at it and go, oh, Kawhi Leonard is a better free throw shooter percentage wise. Kawhi Leonard is a better 3-point shooter percentage wise. And say, oh, well, those two categories that seem to be in Kawhi's favor. But LeBron's a better passer. Athletically, I think they're about the same right now. LeBron might still be a better
right now,
athlete.
yeah,
Right. And I think LeBron's probably a better athlete still now. It's close, but at one point it wouldn't be close at all. But right now, I think it's close. I still think LeBron has more lift.
Well, what did it see? The lift is like is relative, and the thing about it is, in terms of the importance of it, it's relative to the skills that you're applying it to. And with Kawhi, you have to take into account the way he's strong is different than LeBron. His hand size
is big,
and his reaction time, his hand speed is insane compared to current LeBron on the defensive end. Some of those are athletic gifts. Like there's this one play this year, I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah, where the behind that ridiculous steal.
Like he did some 2K AI move.
That was ridiculous. I mean, it's one of the greatest like regular season defensive plays I've ever seen.
Yeah. So, and Kawhi routinely makes defensive plays like that, where he seems to be on the opposite side of the court, and all of a sudden his giant baseball glove hand is in the passing lane. And those are athletic gifts that we don't necessarily describe accurately. But on the defensive end, LeBron actually seems to be. It seems that his bad back, and especially now post groin injury, I haven't seen him perform that way on the defensive end to put him in the same category as Kawhi.
I don't think that LeBron is incapable of doing these things anymore. I think he is unwilling to do them in the regular season, especially for a team that he has already decided is not a playoff team or it's not a championship team.
I can feel that.
I'm not saying that that's the right approach. I'm not saying that, right? Because I have said on multiple occasions that LeBron is a great winner and a very bad loser. Very bad loser. When things are not going the right way, he's not the kind of guy I love LeBron, but he's not the kind of guy that I would want on my team when things are going down. Yeah. He is like the worst kind of teammate to have when things are going down. And I love the dude, but that's true. But LeBron is capable still of doing these things. He just has decided LeBron is too smart for his own good, to be honest. He really is, because he sits up and he looks and he assesses this thing, because the dude is a basketball savant. He is. He looks and he goes, yeah, we don't got it. We don't got it. And that dictates his effort. And that's not cool.
And I agree with you within a LeBron James context. But in comparison to Kawhi, I haven't seen LeBron defensively be at Kawhi's level. Even just from a raw athletic perspective, like his reacting to stuff on the court.
You're talking about ever?
No, I'm talking about in the last 2 or 3 years.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
that's what I'm saying. So, like when we compare athleticism, it's like in terms of running, LeBron's probably still a faster sprinter.
I think he's faster sprinter. I think he's
still a higher jumper.
I think they're equally as strong. I think LeBron's probably still stronger.
It's different ways though. Different ways, because Kawhi seems to have that. Man, we used to have a word for this that I can't use anymore. Politically correct climate. But let's just say it's special strength, right? Kawhi has special strength that you don't see it on his frame. But when he goes to move you out the way, or when you go to move him, you say he's harder to move than LeBron. Like if LeBron is coming at me,
we called it grown man strength too.
Okay, we were less polite in New York. Chats and Joy, I'm glad y'all like that. But point being, there's a uniqueness to Kawhi's athleticism that I would say they're probably roughly equal. That on the basketball court, the athletic gifts are probably roughly the same. But when you combine the fact that Kawhi is able to play hard for the entire game, and LeBron, I'm not sure if he's able to play hard on both ends the entire game anymore.
I think he can. I think he decides not to. I think we're going to talk about this, but I really want to incorporate getting this. I don't even want to say his name yet until I talk to you about it, because I talked to him today about
I can't wait to hear more about it.
Actually letting him come in and talk to us
Okay.
at some point, because the information is gold,
Yeah.
and his delivery of the information, even if you don't agree, his delivery of the information is absolute gold. So we'll talk about it. But
Okay.
The conversation today about LeBron was literally hilarious, mind blowing, just really good stuff.
You tell me some stuff after the show?
Absolutely, 100%. But I don't want to throw it out there until I've checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
So, but man.
Our official assessment is LeBron James. I think for me, LeBron's playmaking is just too much, and his ability to take over an entire game is just too much to compare to what Kawhi's done so far. I think we're looking at Kawhi's very best moments and saying that's better than LeBron. I think if you compare Kawhi to the Kobe archetype, he compares more favorably to Kobe than LeBron does in terms of hitting difficult shots at the end of the game and shooting clutch free throws to close it out. Kawhi's better at that.
Right.
But LeBron's basically better at everything else offensively. And the passing is too much of a thing to ignore.
Yes.
So I wouldn't put him there yet. But if Kawhi puts together more years like this, then, we'll start having to talk about that.
It's funny. Here's how you really know that Kawhi is not better than LeBron. LeBron just is coming off a season. He averaged like 27, 8, and 7.
Yeah.
And we're literally talking about him like he should probably consider retirement.
I know.
And when I say we, I'm not talking about you and I. I'm talking about a lot of people are like so down on LeBron right now because they don't realize that they literally are grading him on a different scale. They're not even conscious that they're doing it.
I'm with you.
They're grading him on a different scale.
They're looking at him like Michael Jordan and Kobe.
Yes, it's like you're grading him like they're looking for a reason to knock him off of the perch.
Well, when I say like Michael and Kobe, I mean literally those are the only two players they compare him to.
Because everybody else is a silly comparison.
Right. That's the scale. It's Michael, Kobe, LeBron, the rest of the NBA history.
Everybody else.